We were looking in the last session the different factors of the environment, whether it is economic factors, technological factors, or political legal factors, or the socio-cultural factors. I was also mentioning to you what is a type of changes which the IT revolution has created in the present day cultural milieu of the Indian system. Okay. So, you have, for example, the growth rate of population. The Hindu growth rate has come down. That may be due to the fact that this has been the complaint of most of the parents, that our children really do not have time or do not get time for family life. So, many of them are on calls throughout, both of them are working, all those types of things. The result is the birth rate has come down, especially the Hindu growth rate of population in the country. So, we were also looking at the type of career expectations, the lifestyle changes that has been brought about by the IT industry in particular. India still enjoys a youth population, but how long will it enjoy is also a big question mark. So, that has been its strength, but how long it will remain, that is also a big question mark. Some decades back, the European countries were also in the same setup, but now the European population has aged. Similarly, the other countries. Now, with all this background, let us look at what is a competitive landscape. The important aspect that you have to consider in the present day is that the fundamental nature of competition is changing. It is not like a few decades back. So, what is characterizing this changing competition? This changing competition is characterized by hyper competitive environments. Hyper competitive environments, kindly note that. It is not just competitive, but it is hyper competitive. So, what is characterizing this hyper competitive environment? If you really look at it, you find that the dynamics of strategic maneuvering among global and innovative combatants. So, you have an industry where the competition is global, the sector, IT sector, where the competition is global. Not only is the competition global, but it is also innovative. Something or the other is keeping on changing. So, you have to be on your toes always. Everyone is trying to position his product on the price quality, new know-how, and the first mover advantage. So, he wants to move into the market first if it is possible. If it is not possible, tries new know-how. If that is also not possible, he tries to see whether price quality can help him in better positioning in the market. Because of this hyper competition, what is likely to happen? Protect or invade established product or geographic markets. So, you have an established product in your market area, you find all of a sudden your market is being invaded. Okay. So, this is what hyper competition can do in a competitive landscape. So, if you go to my book on strategic management, please go to page number 89. I have discussed on page number 89 this case of Microsoft in a hyper competitive industry. Okay. Just to see when they were facing this hyper competition. Microsoft operates in a hyper competitive industry. It used its dominance in operating systems to move to a very strong position in application programs like Word and Excel. Even though it held 90% of the market for PC operating systems in 92, it invested millions in developing the next generation, Windows 95 and Windows NT. Instead of trying to protect its advantage in the profitable DOS segment, Microsoft actively sought to replace DOS with various versions of Windows. Before hyper competition, most experts argued against cannibalization of a company's own product line because it destroys a very profitable product instead of harvesting it like a cash cow. According to this line of thought, it will be better off defending its older products. New products would only be introduced if it can be proven that they would not take sales away from current products. Microsoft was one of the first companies to disprove this argument against cannibalization. Bill Gates, co-founder and chairman and CEO of Microsoft, realized that if his company did not replace its own product with a better product, someone else would, such as IBM with OS 2 Warp. He knew that success in the software industry depends not so much on company size, but moving aggressively to the next competitive advantage before a competitor does. This is a hyper competitive market, explained Gates. Scale is not all positive in this business. Cleverness is the position in this business. By 1997, Microsoft still controlled 90% of the operating system market and had attained a dominant position in application software as well. So, if you look at it in 2022 also, the position has not drastically changed. So, it is in this hyper competitive market as well, Microsoft is a lead player, is the leading player. Okay. So, this is what competitive landscape is doing to industry in the present day setup. So, this is what the IT sector and also the manufacturing sector is facing in India. So, IT by IT electronics you are looking into electronics also industry as well. So many changes. Okay. Now, what is happening? Why all this? This is because of the emergence of global economy. The emergence of global economy is causing all this. What is the significance of this global economy? If you really look at it, you as a country you cannot afford to operate in your own compartment. This is what it means. So, you have to look at the markets outside your country as well. If you do not look at it, it is possible that products from the other countries will invade your market. Suppose you close your market also to outside countries products, it will come in as gray market products. Okay. That is also that was happening a few decades back with respect to Chinese products. When Chinese products entry was finding it difficult. So, even in India you used to find that these Chinese products in the grey markets were coming in, whether it was toys, so many things, name it, whether it is a series light. So, nobody used to give guarantee for that product. They used to say, okay, this product we are giving it to you, no guarantee, no refund, no taking back. If something happens, it is gone. So, that was the type of thing which the seller would tell to the buyer. So, you had so many shades, that is lamp shades, beautiful shades in beautiful shapes coming from the Chinese market. None of them carried any guarantee. Even in the 90s itself, many of these shades used to cost some between 4,000 to 8,000 rupees. They were looking very grand, but it was looking grand as long as it worked. For some reason it went off, let us say. The people who could repair this were hardly few. It is as good as gone. So, you may find it in so many houses. In fact, some 1 year back or something like that, I went into a well known Kalyan Mandap in Bangalore and was talking with the owner, and he was telling me, he was showing me all the shades in that Kalyan Mandap. It was looking more or less like a palace, this Kalyan Mandap, and he was showing me all these shades and said, sir, I spent 30 crores in 30 days. I said, I was almost dumbstruck when he made this statement. What do you mean spend 30 crores? And you know the cost of these shades, it has costed me 6 crores, he said. Oh God, suppose something happens to these shades, and what will you do? Are there people to repair? For which he did not have a direct answer. Okay. So, that is the state of affairs with respect to these Chinese products even to this day. Okay. But still they have made their presence felt in these types of markets in a very strong way. So, they are there in so many these things, whether it is the mobile phone or whether it is the shades or whether it is these toys. So, everything it looks like is manufactured in China. Now, because of the bad relations which this country is having with many other countries, so the other countries including India are insisting that every product, it should carry the tag from which country is it manufactured. Earlier it was not even carrying that. Okay. Now you find that you have to say, suppose the product is from China, they have to say this is manufactured in China. Okay. So, this is what is happening with respect to the competitive landscape, and you have this emergence of the global economy, goods, services, people, skills and ideas move freely across geographic borders. spread of economic innovations around the world, then political and cultural adjustments are required. This is what I told you also. This is what is happening with respect to the Indian family setup as well. Okay. Conservative Indian family setups are also feeling the impact. Now, what is the characteristic of this global economy? The characteristic of this global economy is the rapid technological changes. So, you have so many new models coming, so many things happening. I was mentioning to you, because the price of fuel has increased, it has almost shot through the roof. So, most of the consumers, especially in the developing countries, are not able to afford this fuel cost. So, if you take India, as I mentioned, it is upwards of 110 rupees per liter, 1 liter of petrol. So, that being the case, what is happening? Companies, individuals, organizations are rapidly looking at the alternatives for this fuel. Okay, instead of this crude, can we have something else? So, the result is your electric vehicles, electric charging. So many EVs have come. So, if you look at Bangalore itself, the increase in the presence of EVs is phenomenal. Okay. So, what does this entail? It entails that you should have good charging facilities. Suppose you are having a 4-wheeler EV, and normally it gives you with a full charge about 180 to 200 kilometers. There must be charging stations available in plenty to charge the vehicles. Suppose you are going, let us say, towards Pune or Belgaum from Bangalore. So, at least in 2 places your vehicle may require to be charged. So, though some others claim that they can, it gives when full charged, some of the manufacturers, it gives 350 to 400 kilometers. This has also been questioned by so many others that it is not giving. Okay, whatever it is, the emergence of the global economy has brought in rapid technological change. What is the characteristic of this rapid technological change? It is the increasing rate of technological change and diffusion. Kindly note this. So, whatever you are doing in the technology, it is getting diffused very fast. That is being aided because of the information age and the increasing knowledge intensity, So, you give your, we did not know what is a mobile phone when we were young. We knew only the black phone of ITI. So, the black phone of ITI gave way to the this smartphones, slimline phones they were called. They were slim, looking good, cute, etc., having an electronic circuit in the mid to late 80s. The late 90s saw coming in of the mobile phones. So, there were very few players like the Spice, a small company. Your incoming calls would also be charged, your outgoing calls would also be charged. You had a phone, and a very simple phone which the company like Nokia used to produce. So, nothing like this WhatsApp or whatever, nothing of the type of facility. It was enabling you to receive calls and make calls, but was proving expensive. 1 minute was, if you talk on the phone, sometimes between 1 to 2 rupees at that point of time, and you used to wonder how much is this phone charges going to be for this. So, now spice is not there. What is the latest this thing? You have 2-3 established players. So, Vodafone which was there. So, you have Airtel now, you have after the advent of this Jio has almost captured a huge market. Okay. So, but Airtel is also a strong player in the present day setup. Now, this is what can happen with respect to technology, and if you look at India, our technology missions were from providing drinking water, promoting literacy, stepping up child immunization, hiking up production of oil seeds, linking remote areas with countries' telecommunication network. So, this is the type of technology missions. Even the present day government, Indian government is concentrating on providing hygienic environment in the rural areas, good sanitation facilities, all those types of things in addition. Okay. So, this is what is characterizing the Indian setup, but what is the type of response from the industry? The industry is also proactive. So, the product or the product group coming from the industry is undergoing changes. So, the future form of product group, future processing technology, future form of raw materials, technological developments in related areas, technological development stages, invention, innovation and diffusion, all this is characterizing the present day setup in the Indian context. So, it is a private players who are extremely active, kindly note that. See, earlier I have perhaps given this example in the earlier classes also. Earlier people were looking at jobs being provided by the government. Now the situation is different. You are not looking at jobs from the government unless and until it is a compelling scenario. Okay. So, those who are able to become entrepreneurs, they would like to give it a try, a first shot. They want to be, what do you call, on their own, not to bother about any of these other things. Okay. So, no bosses, nothing. So, they want to be on their own, come out with their own product, nothing like a government this thing. So, government according to most of the persons is characterized by bureaucracy, red tape, corruption, all those types of things. So, this is the present day youth, he is not interested in all this, that is, he does not want to spend his precious time in this type of activities. He wants to contribute, he wants to be on his own. So, this is a very what do you call serious change which has come about in the present day context. So, this is what characterizing the present day response, not only from the industry, but also from the individual. In order to assess this impact of opportunities, we normally make use of matrices. One matrix could be your threat matrix, the other matrix could be the opportunity matrix. So, this is a 2 by 2 matrix, the probability of occurrence on the x axis, and as when you look at the threat matrix, suppose the probability of occurrence is high, then what is likely to happen? In the first quadrant, it is likely to be a major threat. The second quadrant, it is likely to be a moderate threat. So, the third quadrant moderate again, the fourth is minor threat, you can dismiss it off. Similarly, with respect to opportunities and the probability of occurrence, suppose in the first quadrant it is very attractive, then the second and the third moderately attractive, the fourth least attractive. So, the companies would like to have these types of matrices developed for each of the scenarios. Now, when you look at this type of scenario, having these matrices, you can create what is called an EFAS. EFAS stands for an external factor analysis summary. The one which I am presenting to you is for this company Maytag. Maytag is a well known company operating in the western countries. You have the operating in all the consumer durables market. Okay. So, basically it was in the American market, a well known player. Now, when this study was being done, the European Union was being formed, and that is formed in the sense that economic integration of the European community was taking place. So, when using this, the consultants to Maytag, the strategic consultants to Maytag, created for Maytag 5 opportunities and 5 threats, totaling to 1. The weightage was coming to 1 when you total this whole thing. So, if you look at this, what are the types of opportunities that were suggested to Maytag? One was economic integration of European community. For that they gave a weightage of 0.2. Then the second one was demographics favor quality appliances, again 0.1 for this. Then the economic development of Asia, 0.05. Opening of Eastern Europe, 0.10. Trend to superstores, 0.10. So, when you looked at this, the weightage, how do you really come to this weighted score is given in the notes. List opportunities and threats 5 to 10 each in column 1. Okay. Weight each factor from 1.0 most important to 0.0 not important in column 2. Based on that factor's probable impact on the company's strategic position, the total weights must sum to 1.00. Then rate each factor from 5 outstanding to 1 poor in column 3 based on the company's response to that factor. Then 4, multiply each factor's weight times its rating to obtain each factor's weighted score in column 4. Use column 5 comments for rationale used for each factor. Add the weighted scores to obtain the total weighted score for the company in column 4. This tells how well the company is responding to the strategic factors in its external environment. So, this is something by these two. This source is Whelan and Hunger, external strategic factors analysis summary for this company Maytag. Okay. So, as you see, after all these exercises in the present day setup, though you have so many players in the consumer durable market in India also, Maytag has not made its presence in India. So, they might have been told that to hold on to the American and the EU markets for the time being before entering into Asian markets. So, when you look at Asian markets, India is a strong player. So, it was looking at entering the Asian markets right from 90 only, but even with that also, even in 2022 it has not yet made this entry decision. Okay. So, we will stop here, we will continue in the next session.